This is the Roxanne Show. Get ready. It's time to rise. Hey, you guys, welcome to the Roxanne Show. Yes, you heard that right. BlackBeltBeauty Radio is officially now the Roxanne Show, and that is one aspect of what this episode is about, me sharing this process of changing, why we're changing the show name with you. But on the deeper end of this, the subject of this episode and how it's going to be of value to you is I really want to talk about self-expression, personal evolution, and, why it's so important to answer the call when you get it, when it's time to go and you get the feeling and you get this sense of knowing inside that you're supposed to make this move forward in any area of your life, why it's so important that you do it, that you respond to the call and you get into action and you make that move. So first, let me talk to you about the show name changing. I mean, it's a very big deal for me. When I started the podcast almost 6 years ago, I was still thriving in my past career. I was a celebrity makeup artist, for those of you who don't know. And, I didn't create the podcast as a means to exit out of my career. I started the podcast because, number one, I'm a natural communicator. I love communicating. Number two, I'm an extremely, insatiably curious woman. I love learning, and in so many different areas, from neuroscience to philosophy. I'm a poet, so anything related to art, biology, physiology, it goes on and on. I'm very, very hungry to constantly be learning, and really all of the subjects that I'm very interested in, consciousness, spirituality, it all goes back into self-mastery, into this life of self-actualization. So how to live from your highest expression, your fullest expression in life, and that really connects with this name change and really the whole, premise behind this episode for you. So when I started the podcast, I was not thinking at all that, I'm starting a personal brand, or that I was going to, be in the position that I'm in now, in this thought leadership position, to have a voice and a place of authority in the arena of self-mastery, right? I didn't know any of that. I was just, again, a very curious, excited woman who really wanted to get into podcasting, into this medium. I was such a lover for podcasts. That's all I listened to, right? I don't watch TV except for UFC fights. So it just felt like something I really wanted to do. And so I created this brand, Black Belt Beauty, which, for those of you who don't know, let me break down the name. I don't know if I've ever done it on the podcast, maybe in the very, very beginning, but a lot of people think, they hear Black Belt Beauty, and I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. My past career life was a beauty expert, so that was kind of the fun. I think most people put that together in thinking that I was a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. Okay, no, definitely not a black belt. But the real, my poetic reasoning behind this name was, we all know that to be a black belt is to have it's the highest expression of martial arts, right? It's the highest expression. So my interpretation is that to live from the highest expression of ourself is to live the most beautiful life, right? So that's where Black Belt Beauty came into form. The podcast has grown and is continuously growing, which is so exciting. And just seeing where the podcast is growing, seeing where other aspects of my career, as an author, as a speaker, where everything is going, it was time to have my name lead the show. And I will tell you, not only is this not an easy task to just change the name, almost 6 years in, again, because there's so much on the back end business-wise that we have to do for this to happen. But it's also not necessarily comfortable just from a psychological perspective, which may surprise a lot of people because it may seem very, very easy for me to just say, hey, everybody, look, it's me. Hi, this is, the Roxanne Show. But it's not necessarily because I've never, so being on kind of stage was never my, first of all, my motivation. Second of all, my comfort zone, right? So changing the name really is putting me, because it's my name now, right? The Roxanne Show, at the forefront, center stage, right? And so there's a little like, oh shit, here we go. And that might seem so funny because I'm so deep into my career, but I'm sharing that with you because I think it's so of value to you and my community to see that part of me as well, right? Because we all see the strength, the confidence, and that is very real. But I'm just sharing with you, I did have that, oh shit, we're really going moment. And I'm very settled and grounded into it. I'm very excited about it actually. But I just want to share that did come into my mind, and I'll connect also deeper why I'm sharing that with you in the next few minutes here. But then there were other kind of not fears, but just, what ifs, right? What if you're going to lose listeners? What if they're going to be confused? Any and all of that started to kind of come in when, I started thinking about doing this name change. And then there was also, oh my gosh, all the back end work and SEO and all this stuff. But the calling was too strong to ignore. So on the one hand, you have like logistically looking at the business, where everything is going, and it just makes so much sense. But on the other end, it's this internal feeling, because I've been thinking about this for quite some time. It wasn't like an overnight thing. It was just a feeling that started to, become more pronounced. And then I'm over here, building the business and working on the things I'm working on, and I'm writing my first book right now of many to come. And so that part also started to really solidify, hey, this is really, it's time to do this. We got to make this change now. So, and now like the episode, I'm going to merge this into the deeper aspect of what's underneath the why and how this could be very supportive to you. When everything's just started to become undeniable that, hey, it's time to put your name at the forefront here and make this change. I said, all right, well, let's do this. My team and everybody, got on board and everyone's doing their part. And, I'm very grounded into it. I'm very excited to share this with you. And the most important thing for me personally is this always answering the call. Like any time in my life, and there have been so many times, and I mean big moments, you guys, where I get this feeling of, hey, you got to do this now. Like, for example, even my career change, it was this gradual thing that started to happen for me. And it wasn't because I wasn't happy in my career. It wasn't that at all. It was just this deeper calling that was saying, go this way. Almost another way you can hear it is grow this way, right? Go this way, grow this way. And I have constantly, like that's been a through line for me in my life. When I get that sensation, that feeling, that intuitive calling, I do it. And it's just never, ever served me wrong, right? So whether it's in the business, it's been me, picking up and moving to New York City, not knowing anyone, and just starting a whole new life that would be several years of my life, done that, moving out of the country. I mean, it's just... And this is so cool. What happens is when you start to get very comfortable with trusting the calling, which is essentially you just trusting your intuition, which I call the voice of your authentic self, also your highest self, it just becomes a lot easier to do this. And, at this stage of my life, I can look back and look at all the moves that I've made from answering the call, right? And all of them have been not only so essential for my growth, like I'd never be in this position now, I'd never be the woman I am now if I didn't do that, but it's been so important for me to cultivate this self-connectivity, this self-confidence, this self-trust. And when you think about just how you want to move through your life, I mean, the more that you're moving through your life with self-trust, the more that you can actually hear your intuition and take action on it. And you are now putting yourself in positions where you're forging, a deeper connection with yourself. You're fortifying your self-confidence. I mean, this is really important shit to be, to be embodying and to be activating and to essentially be moving you through your life with, right? But you're not going to, get all of this self stuff that I talk about so frequently if you don't trust yourself and you don't make the move. So, I firmly believe that we are here to grow, to expand. It's like the biggest purpose. It's for us to get to know ourselves in this process of our evolution, right? I'm going to say that again because it's really important. The whole point, I believe, that, we're here, foundational point, right? You can have whatever your idea, your purpose. I'm not trying to, say that this is the purpose for all of us, but I do believe it's a foundational purpose for all of us individuals is to really get to know who we truly are, our authentic self in this process of our personal evolution, for our expansion, right? And so if you are not allowing yourself to expand and to grow, you're probably not going to be feeling great in your life. I truly believe it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, sources of suffering because we're here to grow. I mean, that's what life does, right? Life is always growing and expanding, and we are life, right? So if we're suffocating our own growth, we're hearing, and feeling the messages of grow this way in any area of your life, and you're not responding, you're not taking action, you're not trusting and moving forward, then you're suppressing yourself, and that's not going to feel good. Just not, So podcast name, I could stall because, I can create all these reasons why maybe it's not the right time to do it. Oh, because, we're about to launch this, or I'm writing this book right now and, all this work, or, do I really want to put my name at the forefront of, the show? I'm just saying, like, all these what ifs that, could have me not listen to the knowing inside. No, we got to go. We got to change the name. It's time. Brands are always evolving, so this is not, something new to anybody in business. And everything with the podcast stays the same. Content, mission, that all stays the same. It's just the name now. So we're going from BlackBeltBeauty Radio to the Roxanne Show. So I had to come on and actually create an episode because it's obviously a big deal. And I want all of you to know this. So when you see it pop up wherever you're taking this in, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Google Play, wherever you're taking in the show, yeah, the artwork is going to change. The name is going to change, but the content is all there. And again, this solo episode is not just centered around the name change. It's also an invitation for you to do the same thing in any area of your life, to listen first and foremost, to really turn the volume up on your intuition, your instincts, So again, any area of your life, it could be where you're living, it could be your work, it could be a relationship, it could be, any aspect of your business. It could be anything at any given moment. But start turning the volume up on your intuition, right? Let me give you a tool that by now many of you know about me. If you've been, listening to me for a long time, journaling will help you do it. Journaling will help you turn up the volume on your intuition, because journaling helps you to quiet the noise out here and turn up the voice of you in here, right? It has done that for me my whole life. And that is also why I've been able to make those moves when I get the calling, grow here, and I go, right? Even if it's scary, even if you don't know the outcome, even if you feel very vulnerable, all of that, it doesn't matter. You still got to trust yourself. You got to trust that it's not just about the thing that's calling you forward. It's about who you become on the way there. I've talked about this on another episode. I'll continue to talk about it because it's really important. So this episode, in addition to this big name change that I'm sharing with you, is also, again, it's about you. It's about allowing yourself to grow in the ways that you're called to grow. It's your self-expression, your personal evolution that you are here to listen and to trust and to take action from. And if you don't, you're going to feel it and it's not going to feel good. The any kind of not good feeling, not great feeling that comes as a result of you trusting your intuition and moving from that calling, that not great feeling will always feel better than you suppressing yourself from actually making the move. And you just wonder, what if I would have, or the calling just, is just kind of beating you up inside and you're just out here suppressing it, carrying on with this life, but inside you're getting a very loud calling to do the thing, whatever the thing is for you. Eventually, hopefully, you'll listen. So, I don't want you to have to go through that process. And that's, again, the goal of this episode. It's just to say, because maybe you're right there right now and you're feeling the calling in any area of your life. And you're scared, the what ifs are looming, and you can really reason with those what ifs in a very powerful way. I could have, again, with the business been like, oh, not the best time. Do we have to do this? And I'm really good at going back and forth with myself. I can, put a lot of validity to this side and a lot of validity to the other side, right? It's just, that's part of my communication gift, right? My logic and reasoning gift as well. But logic and reasoning never overrides the voice of my heart. Voice of my heart is the voice of my authentic self. It's the voice of my highest self. It's the voice of my intuition. And that voice in any area of my life, when it's directing me to make a move, to change, to expand, to grow, I honor that voice. It has never, ever not served me. It doesn't matter if I've taken some hard hits as a result of it. And for sure I have, yes, I have. But all of those hits have made me more fucking resilient. All of those hits have given me more skills, because anytime you take a hit towards you or any aspect of your life, you have to respond, right? And in that response, you learn more about who you are, literally. And so in any hard moment that I've ever faced, from trusting my intuition and making the move and going for it, all of those hits have worked in my favor and still do. There's a ripple effect on it, my confidence, the strength, the resilience, the trust in myself. That is shit. You got to earn that. There's no handouts to self-confidence or self-trust. You got to make the move. You got to get in the arena, and you got to, like I always say, if for my new listeners, seek the fight. You move towards the challenge. You don't just, wait in the corner and wait for shit to come at you and then figure out what you're going to do. No, especially when you have the calling inside saying, go there, do this, So even if it takes a moment, because you have to like really kind of process it. Again, for me, this wasn't an overnight decision. I've been feeling it with the name change, and then now it's officially time. It's very exciting. So to all of you who've been, dialed into the show from the earliest of days, well, I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so excited just to, just have you be a part. And all my new listeners and viewers, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much, because it's really exciting. And, anytime that there's any kind of change, I just did a whole rebrand in my business. There's an energetic everything is energy, right? So the whole frequency is now expanding as well, and you're a part of that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so excited and just very excited. I'd love to hear whatever your thoughts are about this. If you are someone who's in this moment right now where you're getting the calling and, did this episode help you pick up the call? Are you going to make the move? Do you have a fear? Like share any of your thoughts or your takeaways with me on YouTube in the comments. Also, just so you know, on Instagram. So my personal is Roxy Look. That stays the same, obviously. And then the podcast Instagram profile that was Black Belt Beauty is changing to the Roxanne Show as well. You don't have to do anything. I'm just letting you know, if you do follow me there, follow the show there, just know that the name is going to change. But again, all the content, everything else stays the same. And it's so exciting to have you be on this journey with me, and I do feel it's responsible to be transparent and share, even like I said at the very top of this episode, my looming what ifs that were poking at me almost like from a fear-based perspective, but I really do want to be this open, and I am this open to share the journey with you, because if I'm feeling this, there are so many of you out there feeling it. And I know that, again, the dominant energy is always seeing the strong, confident, but I did a whole episode about being vulnerable, right? And how even though you see me in this, strength and, really in my self-ownership, I'm always vulnerable because I'm fucking honest, I'm authentically me. But sharing the kind of behind the scenes of me with you as well as I'm on this growth journey, personal evolution. It's really important for me to do that, because I know, this is where I'm going to connect with you more. And that's the goal, right? The goal for me with this show and with all of my work is to support you to grow from your highest self-expression or into your highest self-expression, to live a life of self-mastery and self-actualization, and ultimately to build this community with you, so there's real connection here. So it's exciting times, you guys. Thank you so much. If you haven't given this podcast a 5-star rating review, please do so. We so appreciate it here at The Roxanne Show. I will catch you on the next one. Thanks so much for listening, you guys. Please like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and review.